Welcome back to Eurofootball Daily, everyone, and today we're going to be looking at 10 players who have had mind-blowing seasons. 10. Lucas Biglia. It's common to claim that tackling is on the decline across Europe, and in some cases that seems to be true. 10 years ago, defending was solely the job of central midfielders, fullbacks and centre-halves. But the popularity of pressing football has shared the responsibility around. As a result, while 23 Serie A players made over 3.5 tackles per game in the 2009-10 season, just 6 managed it in the 2018-19. And top of the pile, not just in Italy but the whole continent, was Lucas Biglia. The Argentinian's 4.8 tackles per 90 actually puts him level with his former coach Gennaro Gattuso a decade ago. And despite declining mobility at the age of 33, he won the ball back 6.6 times a game in total, a quarter of Milan's defensive output. And once he gets possession, Biglia's distribution is just as impressive. The former Lazio man led AC in passes per match last year, with 67 a game, 7 more than the second best tally, and hit 4.6 accurate long balls a game, the most of any Rossoneri outfielder. In many ways, Biglia resembles his replacement at Lazio, Lucas Leiva, a tough, intelligent and hard-working ball winner who has never been celebrated but always been needed. Expected to depart the San Siro this summer, Biglia will leave the big stage with his head held high. 9. Raul Garcia. Players may leave Diego Simeone, but Diego Simeone never leaves them. Nowhere is that clearer than in the case of Raul Garcia. The Spaniard was part of the Atleti side which won La Liga and reached the Champions League final in 2014, scoring or assisting every 128 minutes in both competitions that season. He then joined Athletic Bilbao in 2015, averaging 13 league goal involvements per year for the Basque outfit since, despite passing his 30th birthday in 2016. Those are solid stats, but Garcia is notable for less glamorous reasons in 2018-19, having led the continent in fouls each game with 3.7. As a consequence, he picked up a staggering 13 yellow cards in the Liga, making him one of just 4 attackers in the top 4 leagues to have earned more than 10 cautions. But Garcia isn't simply dirty. Despite closing in on his 33rd birthday, he still makes over 3 tackles and interceptions per 90 minutes, and in the course of his whole career, he averaged around 4.4 defensive actions a game, more than N'Golo Kante did under Maurizio Sarri. And Garcia's value is shown in his appearance numbers, with the former Osasuna trainee making over 30 league appearances in the last 8 seasons. It looks like opponents' ankles are unlikely to get a break anytime soon. 8. James Rodríguez. It's hard to see what James Rodríguez has to do to make a club take a chance on him. While rumours swirl of €60 million bids for Bruno Fernandes, a player who has one good season in Europe's top 5 leagues to his name, Rodríguez has now excelled in Spain, France and Germany, contributing 10 goals in 1,100 minutes for Bayern Munich last year, and recording an insane 0.86 expected goals and assists per match, the second best in the Bundesliga, and the same as Raheem Sterling, the top player in the Premier League. With 4 chances created per match, Rodríguez led Europe in 2018-19, and this is nothing new for him. Across the last 5 campaigns, he's produced more than 3 key passes per 90 minutes and has contributed to 83 goals in 7,780 minutes, roughly 1 every 94 mins. And while he is seen as a luxury player in the mould of Mesut Ozil, James has converted himself into a hard-working presser, putting up 3 tackles and interceptions per 90 in 2 of those previous 3 seasons, more than famed workhorse Roberto Firmino. Now closing in on his 28th birthday, James has gone from the world's most sought-after playmaker to unwanted squad player for hire, valued at just €40 million. However, a reunion with former boss Carlo Ancelotti at Napoli is reportedly on the cards, and with regular minutes, plus Mertens, Milik, Insigne and Ruiz around him, the Colombian could be set to dominate yet another division. 7. Benoît Badiashile. Though you may not know his name yet, it should still come as no surprise that defender Benoît Badiashile is a Monaco player, as one of just 2 18-year-olds to finish the 18-19 campaign with over 1,000 minutes. The other was Arsenal target William Saliba, 2 days older than Badiashile, and though the Monegasque man may not be quite as sought after as his St Etienne counterpart, his age makes him stand out from the crowd, having been born on the 26th of March 2001, a year and a day after Jadon Sancho. Monaco's woeful campaign saw them comb every inch of their academy for solutions, ultimately using 42 different players in Ligue 1, 6 more than any other club in Europe's top 5 leagues. But Badiashile became a regular, with just 8 squad members seeing more minutes, and the Frenchman acquitted himself well, winning 75% of his tackles he attempted and 68% of his aerial duels, a record which suggests he could become a truly imposing presence as he grows physically and in experience, especially as he's already 6'4". The fact that Monaco's defensive record was so poor could work in Badiashile's favour, as he's unlikely to attract suitors and therefore will probably see plenty of game time again next season, arguably a big factor in creating a star as talent. Perhaps if Leonardo Jardim stays at the club, the teenager could one day be at the heart of another great Principality side. 6. Toni Kroos. Maybe the least surprising entry on our list, Toni Kroos led Europe's outfielders in successful long balls per game in 2018-19. While goalkeepers always top this metric, with the top 32 players for long passes all keepers, they are often fairly hit and miss, mostly aiming for a big target man. But Kroos is a sniper rifle, not only picking out his man 8.8 times a game, but succeeding with his long ball attempts 85% of the time, giving him a better accuracy on those passes alone than Lionel Messi had on all of his passes last campaign. In fact, the German racked up a distribution accuracy of over 93% overall, bettered by just 7 other players in Europe, and amazingly, he did it while attempting plenty of difficult balls. Kroos created 2.6 chances per 90 in La Liga, the same as David Silva, and while 60% of those came from corners and free kicks, his ability to find a teammate saw him pick up 4 assists, and Real generated around 4 shots per game from set pieces, the second best mark in Spain. Though Real Madrid would be arguably better off finding versatile mobile midfielders to replace Kroos and Modric, the pair remain among the sport's best ball progressors, and Kroos was rewarded for his incredible consistency in the spring of 2019, with a contract taking him up to 33 years old. 5. Steve Mounie. It's hard to find any area where Huddersfield excelled in 2018-19. The Terriers conceded 76 goals and ended the year with a goal difference of -54, the third worst in Premier League history. On the attacking side though, they found the net only 22 times, the second worst total ever achieved in the division after Derby County's horrific class of 2008, with their best goal contributor 24-year-old striker Steve Mounie, who scored 2 and assisted 3 in 31 appearances. Quite impressively, the Benin forward took 3 shots per game, with 2.6 of those coming from inside the box, numbers which wouldn't look out of place in a top half side. But over half of those were headers, and as a result, each effort had only around a 9% chance of going in, making his poor goal return unsurprising. However, Mounie led the top 5 leagues in aerial wins per 90 minutes, coming out on top in nearly 11 aerial duels every match, and maintained a 61% success rate, despite the physically imposing defenders in the Premier League. Still young, and having previously impressed in Ligue 1, where he scored 14 with Montpellier in 2016-17, the 6'3" striker could be an intelligent signing for a side looking to improve their set-piece threat. Perhaps an instant return to the top flight with Burnley would make sense. 4. Robert Lewandowski. Outside of Mbappé and Messi, Robert Lewandowski had a claim for being the best player in Europe last season, and yet nobody noticed. The Pole scored over 40 goals in all competitions for the 4th campaign in a row, while crossing 20 in the Bundesliga for the 7th time in the last 8 years. And according to expected goals, he should have got even more than his 29 goal involvements, with Understat saying he should actually have bagged 33 goals and 10 assists, second only to Messi and amazingly in a 34-game league. The secret to Lewa's insane output isn't shot quantity, though he takes plenty, but shot quality. Last year he took 4.4 shots a game with 3.6 from inside the area and a staggering 0.8 from inside the 6-yard box, the best figure across the continent. In the course of the campaign, that shook out to 27 total attempts from very close range, 8 more than the second best tally in Europe's top 5 leagues, and 10 more than the best mark in the Prem, put up by Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Even more impressively, it's just 6 fewer than Barcelona managed in the Liga as a whole team. In fact, across his whole time in Germany, 82% of Lewandowski's shots have come from inside the area, and a massive 11% from 6 yards out, making him arguably the world's premier penalty box poacher over the last decade. At 30, his prime should be coming to an end, but on this evidence, Bayern's number 9 has plenty of life in him yet. 3. Bartłomiej Drągowski. With 7 games left of the Serie A campaign, a season which had been even more insane than the usual got even weirder. Atalanta, flying high with the league's best attack and competing for Champions League football, were unable to beat relegation strugglers Empoli at home. And while any team can have a down game, that wasn't what happened, with the Bergamo side racking up 47 shots to Empoli's 3, a record in Europe's top 5 leagues, and putting 18 on target, but somehow drawing 0-0. That was thanks to 21-year-old lonely goalkeeper Bartłomiej Drągowski, who set an Italian record for saves in a single game and 3 weeks later repeated the feat, this time making 11 saves to help Empoli beat Fiorentina 1-0, the club which had loaned him out. And while the Pole couldn't save his side from the drop, he ended the year as the best on the continent for saves per game, making over 5 a match. In his 14 appearances, he saw man of the match 3 times and conceded 24 goals from an expected goals total of over 26. An overperformance which could have indicated special shot-stopping ability at a very young age. The 6'3" stopper who wants the number 69 is unlikely to be given a shot with La Viola, thanks to the acquisition of coveted youngster Alban Lafont, but has well and truly put himself on the map with his octopus-like abilities. 2. Sofiane Boufal. Some players are simply gifted, and Sofiane Boufal is one of them, though in his case it hasn't made him an especially effective footballer. The Moroccan spent 2018-19 on loan at Celta Vigo from Southampton, and was top of Europe for dribbles per game with 6.2, and total dribbles completed with 144, 7 more than Eden Hazard and 10 more than Leo Messi, with a very strong success rate of 64%. However, he's a little lucky to make our list, as Adama Traore actually completed 6.5 take-ons a game with an 80% success rate, but only played under 900 minutes in the Prem, and so doesn't make our cut-off. And Boufal does little besides carry the ball. Outside of one season at Lille where he hit 11, the wide man's best league tally is 3. And despite the ease of which he beats defenders, it doesn't translate into good end product, with 0.3 expected goals and assists per 90 minutes in Spain, the same as Jordan Ayew for Crystal Palace. As a result, he got just 6 goal contributions in 35 appearances, and it wasn't like he was working hard on the defensive end either, making just a single tackle per game during that time. Though only 25, it looks like Boufal is unlikely to make good on the promise which led Southampton to spend £60 million on him 3 years ago. 1. Kylian Mbappé. Unlike Boufal, Kylian Mbappé has never really had promise or potential. He's been a fully fledged superstar since day one. The Frenchman won a 2nd consecutive title in 2018, followed it up with a World Cup winners medal and the award for the best young player at the tournament, and then took yet another step up, netting 33 league goals in 2018-19 to finish just 3 behind Messi and 7 ahead of the 3rd most prolific player in Europe's top 5 leagues. That brought him the 6th senior trophy of a career which is barely 4 years old, and his 3 full campaigns at the top level, Mbappé has netted over 20 goals in all competitions every time. In fact, despite only breaking into the first team 3 years after Falcao arrived at Monaco, Mbappé now has 62 league goals to the Colombian's 64. And unlike many young players, the 20-year-old already has exceptional decision making. Rather than shooting from anywhere, like many youngsters, Mbappe's shot quality is outrageous, with each attempt carrying a 24% chance of going in, compared to 17% for a top striker like Sergio Aguero. And when you combine that shot quality with almost 5 attempts per game, 4th best in the top 5 leagues, you get a world's best 1.15 expected goals per 90 minutes, miles ahead of Messi on 0.87 and Ronaldo on 0.78. From one of the world's best forwards, Mbappé is now 2nd only to Messi, and looks set to dominate the global game for a decade to come. So those were our top 10 players who had mind-blowing seasons, even if you didn't realise it. But have we missed out on any other players? Let me know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this, why don't you check out the video on screen right now. Follow me on my social medias and EFD on their social medias, and don't forget to like and subscribe.